Hello, everybody.
Hi, everyone.
Today's topic is the fear of failure.
Indeed.
So the fear of failure, kind of a big topic, something that's been near and dear to my heart. It is certainly it's certainly something that's been a decades-long kind of battle for me, and I know that others may be feeling the same kind of thing. I, had all kinds of books on my shelf, how to achieve what I'm going for, trying to overcome that fear of failing. So I'm just wondering, what have we got for them?
I'm a bit scared. No, I'm kidding. No. Well, okay. So the fear of failure. What is it? So generally speaking, it's the idea that you want to do something, but you don't do it, and so you think that it's a fear of failure, and it may be a fear of failure, or it may be something else. And here's what's happening literally in real time. You want to do something. So this is from, I want to ask someone out to, I want to start my own business, or I want to change jobs, or I want to, do a hobby, whatever it is. I want to do that. And when you think of doing it, your subconscious refers to evidence, proof and evidence in the form of subconscious childhood memories that you're going to die. Basically. Subconscious doesn't make sense. It doesn't use logical reason. It operates purely on keeping you alive, survival. And the fear, the fight, freeze, flight state that you go into with when you're worried about rejection or failing at something, or what will they think, or I don't know what I'm doing, or overwhelm, all of those kind of things is the same state you would go into if your life was in danger. So what's happening is, I think of, I need to pick up the phone, and I know that in order to improve my business or move forward, I need to pick up the phone and speak to people, get appointments or whatever it is. And when I think of picking up the phone, I feel fear. And so my subconscious is referring to the evidence, whatever that evidence is from childhood, prompting the brain to trigger my organs to produce stress chemicals that my conscious mind then interprets as fear. So my conscious mind then goes, oh, what are they going to think of me? They're going to say no. They're going to think I'm stupid. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm going to mess it up. Whatever. So, but that's the conscious mind coming up with reasons, trying to come up with logical reasons. But that's not the cause. So it's not that you're going to fail. It's not that they're going to think badly of you. It's not that you don't know what you're doing, and it's not that you don't have the skills. It's not that you're going to make a fool of yourself. None of those are the real reason. The real reason is I was bullied in school, or I was humiliated, or I was told I was stupid, or it's those from childhood. It's those references the subconscious is referring to. Then it's creating the stress state, the fear state, and the conscious mind is then thinking it's because I'm scared that I'm going to fail. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Makes sense inside my head. I hope it makes sense out
there.
Well,
and I think my experience of, all the self-help books, that I was looking at other people getting success, and it's like, either personal examples of people that I knew that said, hey, you should try this book, and they were successful.
Right.
And it wasn't working for me.
Yes.
And it just didn't make any sense why this wasn't working. And so some of the books out there, it's obvious that what other people are, the methods that other people are promoting do work for some people some of the time.
Absolutely.
But what we're really addressing when we're talking about the fear of failure, across the board, is that the way your subconscious is working is going to be completely unique to you.
Absolutely.
It's going to be completely unique to the references that it's holding.
That's right. So the answer is to go and change the subconscious childhood memories, so that your subconscious is then referring to completely different information. Now, let's take the example of I was bullied in school.
Yeah.
So let's say the result of the bullying was that my subconscious formed a structure of low self-esteem, and I believe that I'm stupid and people think I'm stupid. So now as an adult, I need to promote my business. Let's say I know that I should be creating videos on YouTube, on a YouTube channel, in order to get the word out there about my business. And every time I think of doing a video, my subconscious is referring to the evidence from the experience with the bullies that I'm in danger.
Yeah.
It's then prompting my brain to trigger my organs to produce the stress chemicals, and my conscious mind then I start looking for reasons. I think, well, I don't have the right lighting. I don't know what I'm doing. I look terrible on camera. I don't know what to say. Nobody's going to watch it. All of those kind of, logical reasons start coming up. I come up with those. Now, if I continue like that, I'm never going to move forward. I'm never going to, I could force myself. I might force myself, but I'm going to probably do not a very good job, because I'm going to be self-conscious and I'm going to be in the stress state. So instead, I go to the memories of the bullies, and I change those in my subconscious. Now, my conscious mind will always know what really happened, of course. This is not brainwashing. It's changing the references in the subconscious to where I was never bullied. The bullies were, in fact, fans, and everybody loved me. I was very popular, and I did great talks in school, all that kind of thing. I changed that, and I practice it. And then when I think about doing a YouTube video, my subconscious is now referring to new proof of who I am and what I'm capable of, and how the world works, what other people are going to think and say. And that produces different chemicals. And suddenly I feel, oh yeah, oh, that's fun. I can't wait to do the videos. That'll be fun. Oh, I can do this, I can do that. And this part of my brain, the prefrontal cortex, is online because I'm in a calm, happy state, and that's where you do your cognitive thinking. So I'm coming up with great ideas. I'm strategizing, and I know what to do. I know who to contact for help, and all of that kind of thing. And my conscious mind thinks, yeah, I can do this. Does that make sense? So it's not that failure is the reason for the fear. It's whatever the proof and evidence is in the subconscious.
Yeah. So it's like, what's the worst thing about failing? Is that sort of what, so our subconscious is referring to what is the worst thing about the failure. So for me, it may have been what I think, one of the biggest fears has always been, what will they think of me?
Right. Yeah.
So going back to early childhood and finding those references, going back and finding those early references of what will they think of me, and then changing those.
Yeah.
So as and thinking about how driving or how important that fear is evolutionary wise, it's keeping us safe.
Yes.
Because we are tribal beings. It's important for us to be part of a group in order to be cared for, in order to survive. So those feelings of what will they think of me, I might be on the outside of the group, become very powerful, because it is really life or death.
Evolutionarily, it would mean death, yes.
So how about an example? How about another example of how you go about trying to find those initial, I know I have a problem, so I know I have a problem with the fear of failure. I know I'm stuck. I know I'm not doing what it is that I would really like to do. How do we start that process? How do we get that going?
Okay, so the three questions we advise starting with is, number one, how do I know I have a problem? So let's do it in real time, shall we?
Okay.
I mean, let's do a demonstration. So how do you know you have a problem, Steve?
I'm stuck. I've always wanted to do
Skydiving.
Oh, that's a real one. Yeah, okay. I've always wanted to do skydiving, and I have a fear of failing. I have a fear of failing.
We need to choose another example, because fear of failure, skydiving is not
a good one.
It's not bad. So,
all right, I have a fear of, I've always wanted to open my own bakery.
Okay, very good.
My own little coffee shop bakery.
All right. So it's important to bear in mind, obviously, we're talking about, in this case, we're talking about fear of failing at things that aren't life-threatening. So I just want to clarify that. This is not about fear of failure, with dangerous stunts. This is fear of emotion, fear of failure, the emotional effects. Okay,
right.
So you've always wanted to open your own coffee shop and bakery. Okay, so, and how do you know you're not opening your own? What's stopping you?
I'm afraid that, I'm afraid of bankruptcy. I'm afraid of not making it.
Very good.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So, and how does that feel?
Humiliating. It devastating.
Right. So if you were to go bankrupt and you were the business was to fail, it would feel devastating and humiliating.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Good. Okay. So now let's go to what's your earliest childhood memory, if you have one, of feeling humiliated and devastated? You don't have any. You don't have any left anymore. You've changed them all.
So if I'm gonna
make one up,
I was kindergarten, and I was supposed to sing a solo in front of everybody at the school, the little school play or whatever we were doing, the presentation, and I couldn't do it, and I just felt completely humiliated.
So then you would go to that memory and you would use the techniques that we're going to share the information. So if you could put the links on, and you would use the technique to change that memory to the opposite, positive and empowering. So what you're aiming for, the end result you're aiming for, is that experience went brilliantly. Not only were you able to do it, but you got cheers and praise, and it went better than it could ever have better than you could have imagined.
Yeah.
Then you would practice that new memory over and over to establish the new neural network in your brain, the new reference in your subconscious, and then you'd think about starting your own bakery again. And then you'd notice what feelings are there. Now, they may or may not be changed, because so if you still feel the fear,
right,
then it just means there are other references there. There are other memories to change. Or it may change from fear to sadness or something else. And you just follow the trail. You keep doing the detective work, following the trail, changing all the references. And something we teach now is to do reverse visualization. So in addition to changing the memories, you would change your childhood so that your parents ran a successful bakery. And you grew up there, you helped, and you learned everything you knew, everything about bakering from them as you grew up, and you'd create that bond between you and your parents. And because the subconscious doesn't know the difference between reality and imagination, it will believe whatever you give it.
As long as there's not a proof there.
Exactly. And if there is a proof, you change that.
You keep changing proofs.
Yeah. So hopefully that explains it all. So fear of failure is nothing to do with now.
Right.
Fear of failure is nothing to do with whatever it is you're scared of now. It's a reference from childhood. You change that, and this will change automatically. You change the references in your childhood to the opposite, positive and empowering, and you'll suddenly find you don't have a fear of failure anymore.
Yeah, and
so hopefully
and from personal experience, we've been able to do those kind of things on our own.
Absolutely.
And as you change those memories, things automatically change. You're now operating from a completely different place.
Yeah.
Your prefrontal cortex is online. You're able to see things. You're able to make different choices, and everything changes. Yeah. And what I was trying to do previously that never really worked for me was that leaning into the fear thing.
Pushing through it.
Through the fear.
And that will work for
it
some
will-
people, for some
for
things,
some
sometimes,
things.
but not everything.
Yeah, I
And
will
not
admit,
for everybody.
yeah, I will admit to overcoming a fear of heights by just forcing myself to continue to continue to stay on a roof and put shingles on a roof until eventually I got over the fear. But it was not, it was a long process, and it was not pleasant.
Yeah, and it won't work for everything.
And it won't work for everything. But things that feel, but we can make these changes a lot easier and more naturally and automatically by changing the early childhood references.
Exactly. Fantastic.
Let me,
And so you shared the link for getting started?
I shared the link for getting started.
Fantastic.
And then
and some news is that we are going to be in England from the 22nd of, well, we're arriving on the 21st, but effectively we'll be there from the 22nd of August until the 27th of September. We have some workshops planned there, which Steve has posted a link to that page that we're hoping to add a couple more to that. And if you're in England, we would love to see you if you're nearby. And and at the, it would be lovely if you're able to come to the workshops. The details are there. All right, I think that's it.
Yeah, I think that
very good.
And we will be doing, we will continue to be doing live events,
Yes.
some Facebook lives from England that will likely be at different times. So we will be seeing you. We'll be seeing you next week at this time, and then we'll be seeing you from the road.
Okay, bye-bye.